If you're going to understand the full essence of this message, you're going to have to let go of some conventional ways of thinking. By conventional, I mean traditional ways of thinking. If you're asking why, it is because the traditional way of thinking tends to be a limited way of thinking. It leads to a way of thinking that is often passed down from one generation to the next. What is a limited thought pattern? Some characteristics of a limited thought pattern are: 1. The belief that you really can't change yourself or your circumstances. Not really. And the belief that the physical world and circumstances are true and that which is real and permanent. 3. The belief that you have potential that you can't actually reach. And 4. The belief that because you have never done something means that you can't actually do it. Limited belief systems lead to settling for a life that is beneath what you could live. Look around. It won't take you long to find someone that has settled for the status quo, and then they have to convince themselves that this is just the way life is supposed to be. On September the 12th, 1962, President John F. Kennedy proclaimed the importance of going to the moon. He said, quote, "But why? Some say the moon. Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? We choose to go to the moon and do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win." In short, President Kennedy was calling on America to be unreasonable. Well, I'm calling on you as a citizen of the human race and as a child of God to harness all of your energy, all of your hopes and dreams, and be unreasonable in achieving your God-given destiny. I call on you, the one listening to me right now, be unreasonable in your belief in what's possible. Christ said, "All things are possible if you believe." The question is not, can it be done? The question is, will you believe it will be done through you? God of heaven and earth, the God of all life, has inspired a message in me to give to you. This message is a calling for you to become unreasonable in your expectation of what is possible when you believe. This is a calling for you to come out of the mediocrity of wanting and not having. This is a time of coming forth out of the tomb of unrealized potential. This is a time to come out of the grave of giving up. What causes us to give up anyway? One word more than any other is the grave digger of hopes and dreams, and that word is fear. Napoleon Hill tells us that there are 6 basic human fears. 1. The fear of poverty. 2. The fear of old age. 3. The fear of ill health. 4. The fear of the loss of love of someone. 5. The fear of criticism. And finally, 6. The fear of death. Mr. Hill is right in referring to these fears as human fears because they are assigned to the human nature. They are derived out of our fear for and need of survival. But your human nature is not the only nature that is available to you. You have available to you another nature, that which I call the inspired nature. This is the part of you that is not confined and held captive to natural laws or tendencies. This is a part of you that was born to be free. There are greater laws that don't come from another human being. They come from God. Our forefathers knew it when they said, quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These rights, the signers of the Declaration of Independence are talking about, are given from your Creator. You have a God-given right not to just be alive, but to have a life. You have a God-given right to liberty, which is freedom, and you have a God-given right to pursue happiness. We read in the Bible that we have been given not just life, but life more abundantly. You have a God-given right to an abundant life. But the fear that is within the cells of our human nature, not our inspired nature, keeps you focused on just surviving and not thriving. Your fear of poverty keeps you slaving away at a job that fills your cabinets, but leaves empty the cavity of your heart. Why then do we settle for these fears? Because it's reasonable. It is within reason to keep clocking in while you're running out of time. It makes sense to keep buying more things to give you this sense of satisfaction when what you really need is a different kind of salvation, a salvation of hope, a salvation of love, which surrounds us all. President Roosevelt knew exactly what he was talking about when he said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." This affirmation is found in Scripture as well. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. In other words, the fear we experience is ascribed to your human nature, but God has ascribed power and love and a steady mind to your inspired nature. You don't have to seek these behaviors. They are already assigned to your inspired self. You just have to believe. That belief requires that you be unreasonable. It was unreasonable to talk about going to the moon. To prove how unreasonable John F. Kennedy was being, going to the moon was going to require metal alloys that had yet to be invented. How can you speak of possibilities that rely on things that have not been invented unless you are being unreasonable? You don't need to know how. You just need to be unreasonable in your resolve for success. To be unreasonable, you're going to have to tap into the unlimited supply of inspiration within you. It is in you, not because you put it there. It is in you because your Creator put it there. My message to you is simple in words, but daring indeed. Be unreasonable in your expectation of yourself, of your capabilities. Be unreasonable in your commitment to the right of a life filled with abundance, filled with hope and love. Don't you give up, no matter what, even when it makes the most sense to give up. Be unreasonable and lift up your head and press forward. If you are hearing this, please know this one thing. God believes in you. I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? Will you believe in your family and in your future? I pray you will. I pray you will. Be unreasonable.